So when a river is in a state of optimal health, the levitational forces are even stronger than the gravitational pull, resulting in, this is what Schauberger found, that when he looked down into a river, he found that the mosses were bending upstream and being pulled backwards by this energy. We now know that this is not done by pump. A river doesn't have a pump. So, and the movement of water up a tree, the water doesn't have a pump. It can go up and down. And it's exactly the same with your blood. Your blood has to go around your body something like, I think, 38 times a day, over 100,000 kilometres. If you put all your arteries and veins and capillaries together, that's 100,000 kilometres. And this 5 litres of blood that you've got has got to go through your liver 38 times a day. If the heart was a pump, it would fail within about 2.5 minutes. So let me just show you an example. This is a video I've just found on YouTube. So you can see the water is flowing from top to bottom, but this bit of Vortex wood is going upstream. So here's another example using that counterflow force in water. So the vortex has an energy enabling the energy to move in both directions. These are little experiments you can do for yourself just to prove that point. So the flowing water forms a vortex action. Now this vortex is in a perfect golden mean ratio. So water also has geometry. So the golden mean ratio is 1:1.618, or call phi. So this is the part of the geometry of water. And this is why we don't have to tell water what to do. Water already has this consciousness. When the gravitational force draws the water away from its source to its destination, there is a corresponding levitational energy that leads the water back to its source. So this is why structured water, that is water with a negative charge for your blood and in trees, moves in both directions. So your blood has to go out to a capillary and do a U-turn. Now, a pump can't do that. And it's got to come back, to your heart. So there's also this, what's called cavitation. So these tiny bubbles are actually formed in water. Now, this is all part of how water cleans itself. So those bubbles there are like little gas bubbles that seem to latch onto chemicals and other things. Now, you can do this experiment yourself. You can use one of my bottle top devices and put a bottle of wine through there and do a sample before and after, and you'll find that the wine has just cleaned itself of all the chemicals they put into it and the preservatives, and they're all outgassed through those little bubbles. And this is how it works in nature. The vortex action, the turbulence in a pristine river, forms these little gas bubbles that help to purify the water. So those little bubbles are called cavitation. But also you have, as I mentioned earlier on, you've got the exclusion zone, you've got this negative charge, and these levitation forces. I mean, water is a very complex molecule. Far more complex than any professor's ever going to teach you at university. In fact, they're the ones who argue against me. They'd have to rewrite all their chemistry and biology books. So this is what we call the principle of reversibility. So water, which is explained by the first law of thermodynamics. So water is the master of this technique. So when you drink water from a pristine stream, we entrain the memory of that water. So water is the master of holding onto information, and you can clean your water by putting it, giving it back its negative charge. So when you drink water from a river, you pass your memory to the water, and the water passes its memory to you. This is a natural process that's been going on, as I said, for millions of years. So the flow of electrons in structured water, along with the earth and the light magnetism, are the basics of all life. In nature, everything is connected. Everything is interwoven. Everything changes with everything. Everything merges from one into another, and structured water is the conveyor of energy connection. When I started my research on this, and after I was given those challenges I mentioned earlier on, I only set one objective, and that was to entrain a permanent negative charge into water, including seawater. I've done that with seawater. So the water in the ocean actually has a negative charge. That's why you feel so good after swimming in the ocean. Of course, you're entraining negative charge, and you're discharging positive charge from your body. So if you stand under a natural waterfall, you get the same effect. So this water was known as the Holy Grail of water, and it's free energy. Every time you drink this water, you've got free energy. So this objective enabled me to replicate the unique properties of structured water. Now, to do that, I just imagined how water would do it. Unfortunately, growing up as a kid on these river systems, and, I was a bit like doing a Schauberger, thinking about, well, how does water put a permanent negative charge in? And because I had a background in sacred geometry, knowledge of sacred geometry, I knew that the earth was providing magnetism to the water. So we've got this combination of magnetism, electromagnetic energy from the sun, and the combination of those things was actually putting the negative charge into the water. Also, that this would have major implications for human health, the health of any cell of whatever it is, whether it's an animal or a plant, and it would have important implications for wastewater management, or in fact any fluid, including the petrol in your car.